kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, punong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan. Sa Vlog Blue Eagle kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan.
They've been behind every exam week, every thesis defense, and every milestone along the way. As they grow into thinkers, leaders, and changemakers, we are right there with them, listening, learning, and leading. This is your space, your voice, your story, where parenthood, purpose, and community come together on air. This is ASPACes, Ateneo Parents in Action. Listen in, laugh with us, and journey alongside fellow Ateneo parents as we share stories of service, solidarity, and the magic in everyday parenting. ASPACes, your story, your voice, your space. Only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to ASPACes, the newest show here on Radio Katipunan 87.9 FM, your one big FM. And of course, my name is Gail. I'm an ASPAC board member. And of course, my co-host here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Andrew, past president for ASPAC. Welcome and thank you for joining us in these conversations that we will be having.
That's right. We're so excited to have you all here because this is a pilot episode. And again, this is ASPACes because this is a show for parents by parents. And our tagline is, I'm very excited to share with you all, this is your space, your voice, your story. So you're all welcome to share, especially parenting tips and everything that's happening in the community. Right now, of course, my co-host here, Pres Andrew, would like to introduce our very, very, very special guest. And we're so thankful that she was able to pinagbigyan tayo, di ba, to join us today.
To take time off from her very busy schedule and to grace us our initial episode. She has been there, always supporting ASPAC and has always been guiding us as we grow. And we're talking of none other than the VP for Higher Education, Maria Luz Vilches, or as she's more affectionately known as Doc Marlu.
Yay! Good afternoon, Doc Marley. Welcome po to ASPACes.
Thank you very much for having me. It's wonderful to be here in this new venue,
Yes.
surrounded
So
by
refreshing.
green, refreshing trees around us. Thank you.
That's right. Okay, I think Press Andrew, my co-host, would like to throw in the first question.
No, I'm sure just to that a lot of our listeners are not aware that 40 years ago, Father Raul Bonoan, a Jesuit, gave birth to ASPAC. No, it was his vision that parents have been and will always be partners in the education of their children. So, ASPAC has been in the Ateneo for 40 years. I'd like to ask my first question to Doc Marlu. How do you find ASPAC? How would you grade us for our first 40 years?
Naku, nakaka-tense naman yan. Sana hindi quantity.
First 40 years, they say that life begins at 40.
Oh, I'm so relieved.
Right.
Okay,
So
thank
because
you.
of that, I think ASPAC has really gone very. I'm looking at the tree up there, and at the top of the tree there's orange flowers. That's the flame tree.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd like to see ASPAC there
Ooh, okay.
because ASPAC has really been very influential in the formation of our students and in the community. A lot of people know ASPAC. And I think we're very proud to say that perhaps we're the only higher education institution that has got that organization for parents.
Wow. Ooh, goosebumps.
And a lot of people will say that, parents are only needed in high school or basic education.
yes.
That's not true. They're more needed actually in higher education. And we're so glad that Father Bonoan's vision for ASPAC has continued to be where it is now. So I think that was, I think there's a lot of the guidance of the Holy Spirit there.
Yes,
When you are
amen to
able
that.
to sustain this for many years and for 40 years,
That's right.
I think there is something there that has to be said about ASPAC.
Ooh, I think that's 101%. Daya, no? What do you think?
Yeah,
Of all
I
the
mean,
things that she said,
It's a good prayer that hopefully through this new media, ASPAC is going to continue and do well for another 40 years.
That's right. Thank you for the kind words.
Well,
Doc
I believe
Marlu.
that really. There has been lots of changes in the university. We were one arts and sciences, then we became Loyola schools. Now we're in higher education, but ASPAC has been steadfastly there, and we're so happy about it.
Thank you, Doc Marlu. Wow, umpisa pa lang yan. I'm really excited because we'll hear more from Doc Marlu today because we have 1 hour show and we have lots of questions from Doc Marlu. I've wrote it down, of course, from ASPAC parents and from those who are asking, bakit nga ba may ASPAC? Bakit may Ateneo Parents Council at sa Ateneo? Ay, hindi naman kailangan ng mga college students yan. So as mentioned a while ago by Doc Marlu, the more parents are needed for higher education. So the question is always, why? Bakit? Maybe Doc Marlu could help us enlighten about that, gray area kung bakit kailangan ng parents, lalo na when it comes to higher education.
Because, in higher education, you have students who have developed in themselves, teenagers or even beyond being teenagers. And they have relationships with parents or friends and home, the original home, which is where the parents are, is a very important environment. And it's a different environment they have in the Ateneo. As you know, the formation system is very well put together. So, and if you continue to be on that road and without the parents understanding what we're doing, you can imagine what the students will be like. The students will be confused. Can you imagine? There's one set in the university, there's another set in the home. So I think it's important for us to be together in this journey of formation for the students. And the parents are very, very important.
That's right.
So
I
true.
think,
So
yeah.
true. Speaking as a parent,
True blue Ateneo
and
here.
the experiences I've had with other parents, wherein a lot of the conflict is there because sometimes they don't understand why. After entering the Ateneo, their children form different values,
That's true.
different priorities, and the parents are sometimes questioned about it. So
Yeah.
yes, having them all on the, I think maybe they won't agree, but at least maybe they would have an understanding of each other on where each one is coming
I have
from.
a little anecdote on that one.
Oh, okay.
Some years ago, when I was still the dean of the School of Humanities, there was a parent who contacted me. I knew this parent. She was one of our students in the graduate programs. And she said, "Why is my daughter sweeping the streets of Quezon Avenue at 5:30 in the morning?"
Oh,
And then I said, because at that time it was part of their labor trial. You know, there was something that had to do in their third year. They had to choose where they would go. Some would be selling fish in a wet market. That's what my niece chose because the students choose. It's part of an exposure to the world outside that they are not in constant touch with. And this girl was tall, willowy, you know, and sweeping the streets of Quezon Avenue early in the morning. And so she said to me, "Why is she doing that? Why is Ateneo asking her to do that?" I said, "No, you should ask your daughter because your daughter chose it. It was not Ateneo that chose it for her. It was she herself who chose to do that. There are many other choices, but she chose that. But if your daughter feels uncomfortable about it, she can just tell the office, and the office will change it into another kind of activity."
Yeah.
So that's the kind of understanding that can be bridged, I think, by ASPAC, because during the orientation for students or for ASPAC, all of these things that we're doing, part of formation, are explained. And so this is the bridge that we need for other parents to understand. And ASPA can be that bridge because ASPA can understand much better what we're trying to do. That we're not exposing our students to danger, but we're asking them to be more judicious about their choices. It's your choice. Now, if you're not comfortable with that choice, you can change it, but you have to make that move.
Yes.
So she understood it. She said, "Oh, okay, thank you, thank you."
I see. Okay, I think that's a very good explanation about why do we need parents, diba? Why do we need parents? Andito naman na, college naman na. Because, you know, my son, when he was just starting here, he also asked that question, "Ma, malaki na ako, you don't need to, you know, do all those things." But Pres Andrew here is a true blue Atenean. I believe you started when you were, may nursery na ba your time?
Yes.
Sorry to ask. Okay,
Yes.
so would you like to share your story being a true blue Atenean and then you have 3 kids? How are you able to, you know, hold them together, that bond, you know, being an, I'm sure Ateneo runs in your blood. Blue na yan, blue blood.
Well, being true blue just means that I have the values that have been drilled into me by the Jesuits,
Real
the
talaga.
Jesuit values, and which I have also tried to share with my children, and hopefully that they will take with them when they go on to the world. No? They are good values, although the way that as I have grown older, I found that not everyone is receptive to those values. No?
I'm pretty sure.
And giving them the way that it is taught in the Ateneo through drilling and repetition. It's not for everyone, for every child. That is a given. But the values are sound, and I think they last. They've lasted this long since, at least in the since Padre Faura and since So I think they will still be here when we're gone, and they're good values.
Wow. I'm sure you raised very, very good kids, kasi 3 kids. I believe your bunso is already graduating na rin, right? Nakakaingit, I wish you could turn back the time and study in Ateneo de Zamboanga, because I'm from Zamboanga. That was my dream school, but the path changed. So, but talagang Lord led me back to Ateneo, and that's why my second son is here. Now, to those who just tuned in, this is ASPACes, and this is a show for parents by parents. So I would like to say hello to all those who are watching right now. May 19 viewers na tayo so far, and I'm so thankful. At 2:20 p.m., I know you're all awake and watching us. Thank you so much to all those who are watching via Facebook and YouTube and all other social media. This is your space, your voice, your story. So maybe one of these days, we could also have you here on the
Yes.
show. Hindi lamang to for Ateneo parents. We open this show to all the parents out there, all the parents in the world, and also the students, Or kung sino man, if you want to voice out something, you want to share that's very important, that could help the parents and the students and the community as well, why not? Just, send us a message sa Radyo Katipunan Facebook page. You'll see there, Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. That's the official Facebook page. And since Doc Marlo is here, I have another question kasi since we're talking about ASPAC. We were talking about the history of ASPAC a while ago. 40 years na tayo. And sabi nga ni Doc Marlo, she sees ASPAC as yung flower na nasa tuktok ng fire tree. I remember that tree when I was young. Kasi I have a calling actually, yeah. So I remember that tree, and maybe that's why it's here. So, among the activities that we have had for ASPAC po, which one really stand out for you, Doc Marlo?
I think it's the awards for teachers.
Wow!
The outstanding
Nagawa
teacher. How do you call it? Outstanding
Parangal.
parangal. The parangal for teachers. I think that's really been a hit in the university, because sometimes teachers just do their work and then nobody really pays attention to them. It's not naman that nobody pays attention to them, but I think it's important for us to recognize the role of teachers in our students' life. And ASPAC has a very good procedure in doing these things, the screening process and everything. So it's not just about teachers, it's also about moderators in the end,
Yes.
moderators of orgs and so on and so forth. So it's always a lovely occasion to have the parangal.
We've tried, the Parangal has been there to recognize professors who have not only been very effective, but have also embodied the Ignatian values. No? And for parents, what this means is that they are transmitting this to our children. And that's why we want to recognize them. ASPAC is very happy to recognize. We do have a tree of excellence where we hang up the pictures of all the awardees.
Wow.
And there's still a lot of spaces left that we want to fill up.
Where can we find that tree? Is that a tree we have there?
Yes,
Here?
and in the office.
Oh, I thought it's a real tree.
No, it's a symbolic
Okay.
statuette that we hang the pictures of all our awardees
Oh, I see. That's
Some
the one in the
course-
corner. Yeah.
who may still be teaching. Some are still teaching, like si Lib.
Yes.
And some who have stopped, who have retired, no? But who remain as legends, as having taught in the Ateneo. So yes, we in fact, I think we are.
You're organizing one.
Yes, we are
Yes.
trying to. We stopped during the pandemic. For obvious reasons, we were not able to put that together, and neither were we able to get enough data to justify our selection. But now that things have come back to normal, we would like to again continue with the program of selecting and awarding not only professors, full-time professors, part-time professors, and even moderators, because we recognize that these are the people who work closely with our children. both in the classroom and in their activities. That's why there have been instances where there are other activities that there was a term they called the advisors would be also working closely with our children, and so we are also trying to create another category for them. So we want to encompass as many of the teaching staff in the Ateneo as much as we can.
Yeah, that's a reason why we put up this show, the ASPACes, because we want to invite more Ateneo parents to join us, because ASPAC is a recognized organization, right, of Ateneo. So we'd like to hear it also from Doc Marlu, kasi many people are asking, baka kayo lang naman may gusto niyan eh. Parang PTA home teachers lang yan, home something eh. So we'd like to hear it from Doc Marlu to explain it better. The partnership of ASPAC, between ASPAC and the Ateneo de Manila University. Doc?
Thank you. As I said earlier, it's an important relationship between ASPAC that represents the parents, really. And then during a big assembly, and we're going to have this big assembly on site again,
Yes.
because it became online.
Yeah.
But of course, thousands of parents attend online, but it's different when it's on site.
That's true.
And so they get to be talking to lots of people, and then I think there will be more volunteers for the activities. And this is also part of creating community. We in the Ateneo say that we are a community. We always say we're a community. And in a community, you build relationships.
That's right.
In a community, you are may mga malasakit, di ba? May pagmamalasakit if you are in a community. So you help one another. And ASPAC is one community. So if we are already engaging with other communities externally to us because of students going to these communities, we have ASPAC here right within us that can help us with this. And it's so good to be able to hear from parents themselves what their aspirations are, and what their and to hear from them what their understanding is about the kinds of things that we do for the formation of their children. I think it's really, really a very valuable relationship here. And ASPAC has got a scholarships as well, and I think they're very happy with the people that they choose. I don't know, how many have you got now?
We have 17.
17 scholars. Yeah. And these are really, it's very heartening for those scholars to meet ASPAC and to be able to share their talents. And later on, I hope that they get back to you as well when they're already in the world of work and doing very well in their own lives.
Well, yes, we're trying to put together a directory.
Yes, that's very
to be
good.
able to reach out to them.
Yes.
But I've always maintained that our scholars are not scholars because we simply pay for their tuition. Yes, we do provide funding for students who are financially challenged, but that's only part of it. I think if we maintain a relationship with our scholars, then they cease to be just someone we have a transaction with. We pay for their tuition, and then that's the end of it. We want them to have a relationship so that we know that if ever they need anything, they can come back to ASPAC. And we, in turn, if we would like to tap their abilities, of course, we would be very gratified if they would want to give back monetarily. But there are other ways of giving back. Sometimes they donate their time, the expertise that they have developed in the Ateneo, and we're very happy. And we invite them because they are able to connect also with our existing scholars. And our existing scholars get a glimpse of what is out there for them, the possibilities of what they can achieve.
So this is what I mean when we say that the parents are really an extension of the formation that is being embedded in the education of the students.
yes.
Because as Andrew was saying, it's not just a transactional kind of relationship. We give you money for your tuition. It's not that. It's about relationships. And I think that's very, very important.
That's right. Yeah, I totally agree with you both, Doc Marlu and Pres Andrew. You know, as I was listening to your conversation a while ago, when you mentioned that when we are back to face, I think it's very important building relationship in a way that the students are also developing the social skills. Kasi diba, if we notice during the pandemic, the kids became so aloof. They were so alone. Diba? Parang they felt like no one is there for them. Parang wala nang hope out there. That's why maybe when face-to-face came back, you know, kids were so happy again. They're excited to meet their friends. And because that's what I see in my kids who are still studying. And I'm so happy for them because they were able to develop that social skills again and that relationship. Kasi for the longest time, like 4 years inside lang the four walls, parang they don't know how to communicate already, even with us, parents. Tapos they don't know how to say hello to their friends anymore. Parang kahit na, hoy, kamusta ka na? Parang wala na. Totally locked na talaga yung mind nila because of the pandemic. So we're so thankful to God, you know, natapos na yung COVID days. And, you know, the kids are healthy again mentally, you know, physically, especially spiritually. Now, moving forward, before we move on with my next question, I just would like to say thank you to Alta Skincare System because they sent something for Doc Marlu. They're very nice. I just met them yesterday in one of the events, when I hosted and I DJ'd. And they just approached me and say, can I help your show? Because I know that's a community radio and sabi nila, I'm sure naman that you are not a sponsored, commercial radio. So can we just share something what we have? Sabi ko, oo naman, as long as it's all natural yan ha. Because their tagline is, do not put anything on your skin, whatever you cannot eat. So ibig sabihin, kung ano yung gusto mo ilagay sa face mo, sa skin mo, it should be something healthy. So I learned that yesterday from Alta Skincare System. Thank you so much, Amir. One of your special gifts to our guest for Doc Marlu, which we're gonna give later. Yeah. Doc Marlu, we were talking about a lot of activities kanina, ASPAC, and your favorite nga is Gawad Parangal. I wanna tackle naman more on the RDT kasi I believe that's also Pres Andrew's projects, and I believe that's very, very important, the random drug testing. Can we enlighten the audience about the RDT that we're doing here? Doc Marlu, please.
Again, that is a special project, and I'm glad that the ASPAC really volunteered themselves to be at the helm of that project.
Right.
Because, as you know, drugs, when you just say drugs, that kind of puts shivers in your vein.
Oh, my God.
And then because schools are now doing this random drug testing, I think what will soften the kind of mandate, government mandate to do that in the school is the presence of parents.
Yeah.
Because you're doing random drug testing to students. So the presence of parents will calm them down to say that this is not a police kind of thing,
Oh, yeah.
But
That's true.
this is they're there. It's part of the comfort. So they will not feel threatened by the whole thing. Of course, I mean, in a university like this, you don't expect naman students with coming and being scared because they are into drugs and so on. But it's just that the idea
Yeah.
of having of being tested for drugs is already something that can provoke anxiety even if you're not into that. But the presence of parents, I think, is very valuable because it will help ease the situation. So thank you, Andrew, for that project.
More than that, no, I think the parents, our listeners, other parents are not aware that the purpose of the drug testing is not to be able to catch those who are using illegal substances, but rather it's more to ensure that the rest of the population are studying or are practically living in a safe environment.
Oh.
That's the goal.
Right.
To make sure that they're in a safe environment. And so myself, other parent volunteers are there to ensure that when the students are tested, that all their rights are not violated, they are ensured that we're there. We try to make it a pleasurable experience, not a frightening one.
Yeah.
We're not there to catch anyone, and I believe Ateneo's policy has always been because this is what we always get, the questions that we get are,
Yeah.
what happens when when we're caught? And they said,
Yeah.
well, you're not really caught. You're there. If you are found out, then the question would be, why? And we try to solve the question. We answer the question and solve the problem.
Yes.
That is what Ateneo is trying to do. It's not there to incarcerate you or to penalize you. And I think parents are not aware of that.
Yeah.
And the student body is not aware of that.
That's right.
And that's what parent volunteers do when they're there. Try to calm them, try to explain things to them.
Yeah.
For me, it's a nice program because parent volunteers are able to interact with students. Sometimes students talk freely with parents other than their own. They share things sometimes that they would not normally share with their parents.
Yeah.
I engage some students asking them about their plans, their dreams, their aspirations. And, they volunteered and we discuss it. And they're happy.
Yeah.
And I feel it's a good way for parents to not only engage other students, but maybe to understand their children as well. Because if you're able to reach out and touch another student, then maybe you'll understand your child better. So I think it helps. It's a good activity for parents.
Yeah.
So which we're trying to share and let other parents know.
That's right. Yeah, I have experienced this 2022. I experienced volunteering for RDT. At first, I was scared because I did know also the policy of Ateneo. Because when we hear random drug testing outside, syempre, ang gagawin sa kanila is dampot. But since the policy of Ateneo is,
It's non-punitive.
yeah, it's non-punitive, and I'm not sure if we talk to the parents, and then I'm not sure if there's a arrangement that we send them to rehab or something. The students feel safe. We know very well that hindi naman sila drug addicts or something, But, as mentioned by Doc Marlo a while ago, the thought of undergoing that drug testing, kahit ako, whenever I undergo drug testing for, medical for work, andun pa rin yung scare because you'll never know, baka may error, di ba, sa laboratory or something. So what's gonna happen, di ba? So it's good that, Ateneo and ASPAC is leading the RDT, and it really feels good to be talking to other students other than our kids. They're opening up their fears, their aspirations, their plans, and I think it's also their one way of relaxing themselves. Kasi sabi ng iba, ang hirap po umihi, tita. Hindi namin napupuno. That's why we try to make them relax and we try to help them. Sometimes nagpapatawa ako kahit hindi ako komedyante. Just to make them feel na, don't worry, it's not naman something dangerous. And I learned it also from Pres Andrew kasi whenever I volunteer, he's always there. So tinuturo niya, ganito gagawin, ganyan, you have to be friendly. So I think that's why we get almost 100%, right, of our target for the RDT. And we thank, of course, in behalf of ASPAC, we'd like to thank all the parents out there, especially the ASPAC volunteers, that you're always there giving your time. Kasi it's always on weekdays eh. So that's really the problem of other parents who are working. So thankful, especially to all those. Meron na yata mga perfect attendance. I think bibigyan din natin sila ng award. So they're always there. They always find time, whether to serve half day or the whole day for RDT. And I hope and pray that Ateneo and ASPAC will continue with this legacy, the RDT.
I think I just want to say something that part of what the process of this RDT is, as Andrew was saying earlier, just in case you get caught that they're positive for drugs.
Yeah.
It's not that you're going to be taken to the police station. It's just that we're going to find out is there a problem, what's happening here. That's part of formation, to get to know what can be done or how this person can move forward from where he or she is. So that's really part of formation.
Yes.
That's it's not punitive, as you were saying. It's formative.
Formative.
So I think that's a very good solution to be able to help, those students who are able to find themselves, in that kind of situation. That's what I always ask Pres Andu, what's gonna happen to those kids? So that's why he explained to me na hindi naman ipapadala yung names, but we're gonna help them. We'll find solution for them to be able to change and not to go back to that kind of habit or whatever you call, that thing. I try to, make sure na I'm not gonna talk about that. But sometimes kasi we cannot really avoid, Even my son, when he knew about it, he was so scared. Sabi ko, don't worry, you just have to declare what supplements are you taking. Since asthmatic siya, you're taking like this and that, you have to write everything so that all the medical people will know. Kasi if you will not declare and then if they found out something, sometimes that's the problem. They have to go back and ask, ano yung tinetake mo? Bakit may ganito kami nakitang substance? So it's very important, especially to all those who are watching right now, as Ateneo students or whoever watching right now undergoing drug testing, make sure to declare everything, what you're taking, especially if you have medications. Kasi para they will know. And if you're into that, if you're into drugs naman, siguro as early as now, better stop na. Because it's not gonna bring you somewhere, di ba? I mean, as a parent kasi, I'm concerned as well with all the students. What can you say about that, Pres Andrew?
There's a video that I do every year for the health services in relation to drugs.
Oh,
in relation to
maybe
say,
you know more about that, no?
well, it's just really to say that we're here as a community that will not support the propagation of drug use and so on and so forth. It's really a short clip, I
Very
think
good
it's on the
advocacy, I
website. I don't know where it is, but I give it to the health services. Yeah.
That's a very strong advocacy, I believe, because it really helps the school, diba, to fight drugs.
And
Si Pres Andrew,
shout out to health services. I mean, they do a lot.
Doc Henry, of course.
Yeah,
Hi, Doc.
and all the nurses and support staff.
Oh, yes,
I mean, they
that's
really.
right.
It is something that, again, partnership with them. It's the only reason that it's successful. It's because
I
we
think
work
they
together.
also tap students to do some kind of video presentation of how not to be into drugs.
Yes.
Oh,
They have
Very
some.
creative.
That's good.
I think they must still be on the website. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I've seen 2 of them.
Yeah, we used to flash them there.
Ah, really? Oh, okay. I want to watch that one of these days if I can volunteer. But it's so good. It feels good to be talking about the random drug testing, one of the activities that we do. Aside from all the other activities that we have the kamustahan, diba? We have the cura personalis, and maybe we could talk about those topics some other time with Doc Marlo as well.
We also,
Team
we also
building.
do recollections and masses for parents and parenting seminars.
Yep.
We
that's
used to
right.
hold them on site. Then we went, because of the pandemic, we went online. We've done a hybrid of it. All very successful. And we want to continue. Because especially the parenting and the recollections, because we all, aside, just like Ateneo, the parents and the families need not just help with the school things, but also on the spiritual side, their soul, their personalities. We also want to address that. That's why we have the parenting seminar, so they address problems they might have. That's why we also have the spiritual side, the recollections.
That's right. Oh, shout out to my co-chair of CPPR of ASPAC. Hi, Ming Lopez. She's very busy. She works with DILG. She's supposed to be here and the other ASPAC members of the Public Relations Committee. But, we're so thankful for your support. We always say that you are with us in spirit. We know naman that we feel that, especially, of course, our current president, John Cabanzag. Thank you very much for your support. Vice President Jean Jimenez, and of course, all the board members, sila Doc Nishi. We know that one of these Mondays, you'll also join us and with this kwentuhan.
Hopefully they'll be here.
That's right. That's right. To be able to share their experiences as well, being Ateneo parents, and maybe sharing some parents' tips as well. Now it's
And
2:45.
para meron din silang gift
Oh
basket.
yeah, para meron din silang gift. That's right. Yeah, 2:45 on the clock. You're still watching ASPACes, Ateneo Parents in Action. This is your space, your voice, your story. We're actually aired every Monday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. And I just would like to take this opportunity to invite you all to please join us next week. Our special guest is the director of the Emergency Management System or Center. I think it's also very important that we talk about those things, especially what's happening around us, around the world. At least we know some basic tips on how to be able to manage, especially if those emergency things arise. So before going on to our last question, I know that time is moving so fast. Sana ma-extend pa a bit. Let's talk about 40th anniversary kasi we started in October 1985, but I wasn't born yet that time. No. I was born at that. I was grade school na. It's 40 years, so I believe it's very special, and I believe our co-ASPAC are doing something about it. Doc Marlu, what will be the share naman ng Ateneo, the whole Ateneo de Manila, to be able to help us, make this 40th anniversary something really big. Na I don't know how to do it or put it into perspective, but I'm not sure what's your practice. Maybe on the 30th year, what did you do? And maybe what's something special can we do for the 40th year? Kasi si Pres Andrew has been a president for too long na, and has been with ASPAC for 10 years. So you might wanna share your plans also with the audience here for the 40th anniversary.
I think it's
ASPAC.
important we'd like to take it from what ASPAC wants to do.
Okay.
So I think it
All
might be
right.
important for ASPAC to do some kind of a brainstorming session and then tell us what you are up to, and then we can pitch in. We can say this is, we can connect you to certain aspects of life in the university for this to be
yeah.
moved forward. Yeah.
I think that's a very good. Kasi sometimes, if you're in an organization, lalo na pag sa mga big universities, there's this fear na baka hindi ma-approve, right? Kasi Doc Marlo here is our mentor of ASPAC. So sometimes there are projects that we want to push through, but sometimes it holds us back na baka hindi yan align sa values na Ateneo.
No, I think it's important for you to just tell us what you're intending to do, and then through a conversation, we can streamline those.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Conversations like this.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
conversations like this.
Yeah, we're so thankful, especially to Justin here, for the long patience. Kasi this project started 3 years ago, so this is actually 3 years in the making, and we're so thankful because of him. He was able to come up with a very good concept. He was able to help us put it into perspective what the show could be and what the show could bring, not just to ASPAC, to Ateneo, but to the whole world. Justin, thank you so much. Ayan siya, andyan siya. Palakpakan natin siya. Thank you so much. Sobrang, I don't know if you're a genius or something. Yan, hindi pa parent yan, pero napakagaling. Maybe one of these days, you could also sit down with us and share naman some parenting tips being an uncle. Di ba? All right, so I wish we still have more time, but maybe you can throw in the last question to Doc Marlu. Okay, yeah. We were talking a while ago about the 40th year and then our plans, our vision. Maybe lastly na lang parenting tips, or si Doc Marlu here kasi is maybe we're very lucky
we have
to have her. Yeah.
We have been parents.
Parents. I have 3 kids.
I have 3 kids.
You have 3 kids.
Doc Marlo has 9,000 kids here.
Grabe. At the
Every
parent
year.
of everyone.
Yeah.
Diba? How does it feel, Doc, to be a parent of thousands?
Overwhelming, but also exciting because I get to interact with a whole lot of personalities that have gifts as well.
Grabe, could imagine
So
your
if it
patience.
has to be a tip, I think it's important to listen.
Oh,
Listening is an
Okay.
Alright.
important quality of a good parent.
Oh my God.
To listen, because
I'm not guilty, promise.
So meaningful, ah.
Yeah, because that's what I've been doing. Just listening to them, no matter how pasaway kung minsan, di ba?
Oh,
But
okay.
just sit down with them and talk to them. Ask them what they are up to. And then if they are misinterpreting certain things, then on the spot you can simply say, no, I'm sorry that that's not what it is. That it has to be this side, but without discrediting the student's passion for something. There's always passion for something. You know, sometimes those who are very passionate about certain advocacy, they come to the office without smiling. So I tell them, can you just smile a little bit? You know, the world is not on us. We cannot solve the world, but with good relationships, I think we can do something. So listening is an important characteristic, because then you are unable, not to judge. You know, I always feel that no matter how much bad press a person has, I always want to see something that is good about that person, and I latch onto it instead of moving in the direction of the negative. Just focus on what is positive, and then who knows, that person will also come out with something positive, because you don't focus on the negative. So for me, listening is very important, and caring, of course. I mean, you know, it's not easy
ASPAC
to
cares.
care for ASPAC cares, of course. It's not easy to care for someone who is always turning things upside down. But there is a different way of caring without that person thinking that you have to agree. You don't have to agree to everything. But you can, caring is also saying, I'm sorry, I don't agree, but maybe we can just agree to disagree. That's it. And it's still respecting the point of view of the other person. So listening is not easy, but it can be learned.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that is
That
the
is so,
most difficult thing as a parent. Because I have 3 kids and I already have a po. So I think, it's for the longest time, I found it difficult at times to listen, because sometimes we want what's best for our kids, diba? So sometimes parang when they say something, I feel that, no, that's not right. You have to do this. So meron palang certain age. Okay, the kids will listen, but there come a time when their age is like this, you will be their parang mentors, parang consultant. Listen and then give advice and then guide them to the right path. So yun. Actually, I'm also learning. Being an ASPAC, I'm constantly learning, and I'm so thankful for this opportunity. And I wonder where you got that patience, Doc, to listen to.
She has.
To thousands of students.
Grabe, no? I mean, are you that patient ever since? Or did you just learn it along the way?
I think basically I'm just a calm and patient person, but there's an end to that. There's a limit to that as well.
Oh, okay.
There's a
Usok
limit
din
to that.
pala.
And when I know that it's already a limit, I just push back. And then have distance before, before you continue doing any ruin everywhere. But just keep distance. Because you have to respect as well yourself, This is how I feel right now. I'm hurt right now. But don't let that get in the way. So when I'm like that, I just pull out for a while. Give me space. Just give me space. And then after that, then maybe we can continue to.
Something about listening. When Doctora was talking about listening, and I know it is very difficult for parents, but I think from listening comes humility.
Right.
You listen, and then you well, like you were saying, you have your thoughts and you want to impose them sometimes. But then if you learn humility and you say, look, I'm not always right. So
Yeah.
you have to pull back and then listen first before you say anything.
There are lots
That's
of,
true.
from my own experience, there are lots of students actually whose difficulty is with parents.
Yes.
So there was a time, or many times, when I would have a parent and the daughter or the son in my office. And the parent would start talking and talking and talking. And then I would tell the parent, "Ma'am or sir, may I hear from your daughter or son?" And the parent would immediately say, "Oh, no, no, no. But that daughter of mine will not talk because she's shy." And I said, but can I just hear from her?" And when the students started talking, the mother was, "Oh my gosh, this is my daughter." She was
Very
just not
surprised.
given a space, But at that time, when she spoke up, of course, I didn't tell the parent. You see, I didn't. But it's just that she I think realized that it's important to give a space for children to talk.
That's why we are ASPACes, Ateneo Parents in Action. This is your space, that's right, and your voice, your story. And always remember to listen, because silence is most of the time power. Yeah. So thank you so much. It's 2:55. I believe that we have to wrap up. Nakikita ko na yung mata ni Justin. Shout out to all of you who are watching right now. And I'm so thankful because we have 311 views as of now. Wow, talagang ganun, ano. If all the views turns into 1,000, ano, dami na sobra. I just,
For our
kidding.
initial, we will take it. And,
That's right,
We will
that's
make
right.
it grow.
That's right. Doc Marlu, before we let you go, please po, your last message to everyone. We're so busy. Your greetings to everyone who are watching right now, especially to all the parents and the students out there. Please po.
I mean, we live in a world that is very, as we can say, VUCA world. Uncertain, Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Got excited about the whole thing. But as I said, we live in a world that's, vulnerable, there's complex and everything. But we cannot dwell on that forever. I think we'll have to capitalize on our own inner strength, because nobody else will give it to us except among ourselves. So we are not silos here. We have to relate with people in community, which is what ASPAC is trying to do. Create community is important, because that is where hope comes in. And especially in this Jubilee year of hope, I think we have to capitalize on it, because as the Bible says, hope does not disappoint. So if hope does not disappoint, we continue in that direction, but we cannot continue in that direction alone. We have to continue in that direction as a community. And I think I'm very glad for ASPAC to be that community that cares. Woo! And that
Thank
gives
you.
that kind of hope.
So
to others.
inspiring. Ladies and gentlemen, Doc Marlu, or Dr. Maria Luz Vilches, the Vice President for Ateneo de Manila Higher Education. Thank you very much once again, Doc Marlu, for joining us today. Thank you.
you.
ASPACes, Ateneo Parents in Action. This is your host, Gail, and of course, together with...
This is Andrew.
Yep. See you once again. This is Radyo Katipunan 87.9, your one big FM. See you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
They've been behind every exam week, every thesis defense, and every milestone along the way. As they grow into thinkers, leaders, and changemakers, we are right there with them, listening, learning, and leading. This is your space, your voice, your story, where parenthood, purpose, and community come together on air. This is ASPACes, Ateneo Parents in Action. Listen in, laugh with us, and journey alongside fellow Ateneo parents as we share stories of service, solidarity, and the magic in everyday parenting. ASPACes, your story, your voice, your space. Only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
More music, less talk. The Monday Megamix on